The Art of Agitation, mastering techniques that ignite social change in an era defined by rapid technological advancement and global interconnectedness. Agitation has evolved from a fringe activity to a central force in driving societal transformation. This article delves into the sophisticated strategies that empower activists, organizers, and advocates to harness agitation as a tool for meaningful impact. The modern activist faces unprecedented challenges and opportunities. With digital platforms amplifying voices across continents, understanding effective agitation techniques is not merely beneficial, it's essential for anyone committed to catalyzing positive change in today's complex world. Fundamentals of effective agitation. Agitation begins with a clear vision grounded in purposeful action. At its core, agitation is about creating intentional disruption aimed at exposing injustices and challenging existing power structures. It requires both strategic foresight and emotional intelligence to navigate sensitive issues without alienating potential allies. Successful agitation demands meticulous planning and adaptability. Activists must identify key leverage points within systems they aim to influence, whether through legal loopholes, public sentiment shifts, or media narratives. These vulnerabilities often reveal themselves when analyzing historical patterns of resistance and reform. 3 foundational principles guide impactful agitation. Targeted focus. Concentrate efforts on specific systemic weaknesses rather than attempting broad-based confrontation, which can dilute message effectiveness. Strategic timing. Coordinate actions during moments of heightened vulnerability for target institutions or individuals, such as legislative sessions or corporate reporting periods. Adaptive messaging. Develop flexible communication frameworks capable of evolving alongside shifting political landscapes while maintaining core objectives. Crafting compelling messages through storytelling. Storytelling remains one of the most potent tools in any agitator's arsenal. Human experiences provide relatable context to abstract policy discussions, making complex issues accessible to wider audiences. A well-crafted narrative can transform statistical data into powerful emotional catalysts. Effective storytelling in agitation follows distinct structural patterns. Begin with personal anecdotes that establish credibility and empathy before transitioning into broader implications. Conclude with calls to action framed as collective responsibilities rather than individual burdens. When we tell stories of those who have suffered under oppressive regimes, explains Dr. Maya Lin, renowned activist historian, we're not just recounting events, we're building bridges between past injustices and future possibilities. Mixing factual information with emotive language creates memorable messages that resonate beyond immediate contexts. Research shows that emotionally charged narratives are recalled up to 3 times longer than purely informative content. Leveraging digital platforms for maximum impact. Digital spaces offer unparalleled reach but require nuanced approaches to achieve real-world results. Online agitation differs significantly from traditional protest methods. It necessitates careful consideration of platform algorithms, user engagement metrics, and digital security protocols. Social media campaigns benefit immensely from visual content that encapsulates complex ideas quickly. Infographics explaining policy changes, video testimonials highlighting personal impacts, and interactive maps showing regional disparities all serve as compelling tools for digital mobilization. For critical considerations shape successful online agitation, platform specificity. Tailor messaging styles according to each platform's norms, from Twitter threads requiring brevity to LinkedIn posts needing professional tone. Hashtag strategy. Develop cohesive hashtag ecosystems that connect disparate movements while avoiding co-optation by opposing forces. Data security. Implement robust encryption measures and anonymity protocols, especially when dealing with high-risk targets or vulnerable populations. Engagement metrics. Track performance indicators to refine tactics continuously while balancing quantitative analysis with qualitative human responses. Building coalitions across diverse communities. Coalition building forms the backbone of sustained agitation efforts. By uniting varied groups around common goals, activists create networks resilient against fragmentation caused by internal disagreements or external suppression attempts. Effective coalitions emerge from genuine collaboration rather than superficial alliances. Shared values need concrete expressions through joint initiatives, such as combined fundraising drives, mutual training programs, or coordinated lobbying efforts that demonstrate commitment beyond symbolic gestures. Unity doesn't mean uniformity, emphasizes veteran organizer Jamal Carter, but it does demand active listening and reciprocal respect among coalition members. Establishing trust takes time but yields substantial long-term benefits. Regular dialogue forums, transparent decision-making processes, and inclusive leadership models help maintain cohesion within multifaceted alliances. Tactical nonviolent resistance strategies. Nonviolent resistance offers a spectrum of tactics ranging from peaceful demonstrations to civil disobedience. Each approach carries different levels of risk yet shares a fundamental principle: the deliberate use of non-cooperation to disrupt unjust systems without resorting to physical violence. Choosing appropriate tactics depends heavily on situational factors including legal environments, community support bases, and available resources. For instance, sit-ins might prove effective in university settings where student populations generally favor progressive causes over other locations. 5 proven nonviolent tactics include peaceful protests, organized gatherings that draw attention to issues through sheer presence and visibility, workplace walkouts, strategic absences from labor positions designed to pressure employers regarding ethical practices, graffiti campaigns, visual art used strategically to communicate messages across public spaces, boycotts, collective refusal to engage with entities perceived as perpetuating injustice, hunger strikes, physical sacrifice meant to dramatize grievances and evoke sympathy. Each tactic must align with overall movement objectives while considering potential consequences, including arrests, media coverage angles, and ripple effects on related advocacy areas. Navigating legal challenges and repressive measures. Activists inevitably face legal hurdles designed to stifle dissent. Understanding these challenges enables better preparation and resilience against state-sponsored repression. Laws governing assembly, speech, and protest rights vary widely across jurisdictions, demanding thorough research before initiating any campaign. Legal preparedness involves assembling knowledgeable teams familiar with relevant statutes and precedents. Training participants in their constitutional protections helps ensure compliance while maximizing freedom of expression within lawful boundaries. Vital steps toward legal readiness include Know Your Rights workshops. Educate participants on permissible actions under local laws and procedures for handling confrontations with authorities. Documentation protocols. Establish standardized recording practices using trained observers to gather evidence in case of wrongful detention or excessive force. Legal defense networks. Build relationships with attorneys specializing in civil liberties cases who can assist post-arrest scenarios. International pressure mechanisms. Leverage global organizations and diplomatic channels when domestic judicial systems appear compromised. Proactive engagement with legal experts prevents many conflicts before they arise while strengthening organizational legitimacy through adherence to due process standards. Cultivating long-term movement sustainability. Sustaining momentum requires continuous innovation and adaptation. Movements that rely solely on periodic bursts of energy tend to lose traction after initial successes. Instead, successful agitation builds enduring infrastructures that can respond dynamically to changing circumstances. This longevity depends critically on developing versatile skill sets among participants. From grassroots organizing to digital strategy development, diverse competencies allow movements to evolve naturally rather than relying on charismatic leaders alone. Essential components of sustainable activism include educational programs, ongoing training in conflict resolution, negotiation skills, and strategic planning ensures continual capacity building. Financial resilience. Multiple funding sources reduce dependence on single donors susceptible to political pressures. Intergenerational leadership. Structured mentorship programs pass institutional knowledge to new generations while fostering fresh perspectives. Global solidarity networks. International connections provide backup support and shared learning opportunities across borders. These elements together form a dynamic ecosystem enabling movements to thrive despite fluctuating conditions and emerging threats. Measuring success and adapting tactics. Assessing agitation effectiveness goes beyond counting attendees or media mentions. True measurement considers tangible outcomes, policy reforms enacted, awareness levels raised, or systemic barriers dismantled, as primary success indicators. Quantifiable metrics provide objective benchmarks but must complement subjective evaluations of cultural shifts occurring within targeted communities. Combining numerical data with anecdotal evidence paints a fuller picture of progress made through agitation efforts. Useful assessment criteria encompass policy changes, tracking legislation passed or amended as direct result of activist pressure, public sentiment shifts, monitoring opinion polls or surveys reflecting growing acceptance of movement goals, participant growth, measuring increases in volunteer numbers or expanded geographic reach, media coverage quality, analyzing depth and framing of news reports rather than mere frequency counts. Regular review cycles allow timely adjustments based on what works best, not just repeating ineffective methods simply because they were previously employed successfully elsewhere. Conclusion: agriculture's role in addressing climate change extends far beyond carbon sequestration. When implemented thoughtfully, regenerative farming practices contribute meaningfully to environmental sustainability while enhancing food security and rural livelihoods globally. To maximize agricultural contributions to climate solutions, stakeholders must prioritize holistic approaches integrating ecological restoration with economic viability. This dual focus ensures lasting impact without compromising either environmental integrity or human welfare needs.